Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Podquester Mini. Thank you so much for your patience and the delay. It turns out I am nothing without Louis. Louis is the backbone of the show, and without him, I am very, very ill-prepared. But it turns out I am nothing without Louis. Louis is the backbone of the show. Together, we are going to be going through, and we are going to be drafting some players for the Winners at WAW Mini coming up. Friday night, yeah, unless it's been changed. Okay, Friday night, yeah, here we go. This is so exciting. I muted all of you just for a second because there was an echo, so I don't know if one of you isn't wearing headphones, but if you aren't, maybe you can plug those in. But you guys can unmute yourself and let's get chatting. Thank you so much for joining me here, everyone. We have Charlie, Andy, Jordan, Rayanne, and of course Mallory. And we're gonna draft some players. How's everyone doing tonight?
Amazing.
I'm doing
well.
Great.
That's amazing.
I'm ready to do better than last time. I got second place in the draft, so I'm ready to take home first.
Yes.
So close.
Mallory was a little frustrated with me that I didn't formally dedicate time on the show to mention that she did in fact win the draft for the Survivor Mini, for Podquester Mini. So congratulations.
Mallory, we go back to back. TR hopping on that bandwagon.
Yeah. So tonight, since we've got 6 people, we're going to still keep it to 5 teams, and Mallory and myself are going to be playing as a team. So I'm really, really hoping that some of that kind of good winner energy rubs off on me.
I think this is going to fuck me over.
Well, you know what? Only time will tell. We shall see. Is everyone ready? Is everyone excited? Does everyone know who they have in mind for this draft, or are they just kind of throw caution to the wind and play it by ear?
I definitely do. I think there's also a couple of ways to look at it because it's such an interesting group that we finally got into with 20 that I think there's a lot of ways to think that this game will go, you know? So I'm excited to get into it.
I've got a wildly elaborate strategy, the inner machinations of which you will learn as we go on. And by that, I mean I have done no planning.
Yeah, please, Rayanne, please.
No, I planned my first choice, and the rest is pretty much just whatever my heart wants, whatever I'm feeling, whoever I like.
I feel like a broken record, but I have to say it. I think this is my comeback.
Wow. Okay.
This is it.
Those are some big words.
You know me. I do it all big.
I think I'm going to take home the title again.
Well,
because I plan on picking my people with that same strategy of just going with my gut. And that usually works. Although I have you this time.
Well, so and whatever she just said is I'm going to copy and paste that.
Sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, please. Yeah, if you cost the win, you're sleeping on the couch, and if I cost you the win, vice versa. It's fair. It's fair. Okay. So we're gonna do pretty much the same system we did last time. We're gonna do a randomizer to pick the order. I've got a wheel, so I'm gonna go ahead and spin it. Let me see if I can show that to you all. Yeah. You know that I'm not cheating. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. This is just some ugly looking little wheel that I found, but here we go. We're gonna spin it. Let's see who's gonna be first in this snake draft we'll be doing. It's gonna be Rayanne. All right, so we'll go ahead and put your. Wow! Oh my God! Holy shit!
It is really proud of you.
That's exciting.
Rayanne, it feels like you just won safety or something.
No, it totally does. I'm like relieved, no stress. Whenever I see a wheel, I get so stressed out.
Yeah. So normally Sequester has programmed us to be really, really scarred and scared of the wheel and of the wheel. And tonight the wheel's actually a good thing. So I'm hoping that we're next up.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a good feeling though.
Oh, okay. Well,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
I was last on a wheel. It didn't end well for me. So.
Yeah. Yikes. I'm getting flashbacks. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
I swear this is not, I did not influence this. I have no stake in wheelofnames.com. You can trust me. So let's go ahead and I'm putting. Yeah, that's what the T in TR stands for. Let's see.
The truth comes out.
The truth comes out. There's too many Tylers everywhere.
It's Tyrannosaurus Rex.
TR.
No, it is surprisingly it's not. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and click the next one. Here we go.
See, I haven't had bad luck with a wheel yet, but it's not looking great.
Oh no.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it continues not to be. You do have red here, and that kind of seems like a
I'm the first to
foreboding
die.
color. Yeah, exactly.
First to die.
Okay, yeah, so Charlie's next on the wheel. We're gonna go ahead and add you to the chart in line next. There we go. Okay, so only 2 left. Who's it gonna be between Jordan and Andy?
Oh, it's gotta be Andy.
I don't know.
Oh, I just
Wow.
barely tipped over to Jordan at the last second. Congratulations, Jordan. All right.
Can I play an LOS?
No, you had to play that before the wheel. I'm sorry. That's how our wheel works. Yikes. Okay, so that leaves Andy. Andy, you have last pick. I'm so sorry.
You know,
Okay,
I'm
so that's actually not bad. You know, being at the bookend is actually, I think, probably the sweet spot in the snake kind of draft, because you get 2 picks at a time when we snake around. So let me go ahead and switch on over to my chart here. All right, there we go. So we have our order. We have Rayanne, then me and Mallory, then Charlie, then Jordan, then Andy. The players aren't as neat as organized as the last draft. The last time I had them all neatly organized to this. Yeah, I'm not trying to influence you any type of way, but that's how it's going to work. I had them neatly organized in rows before, but then I guess my software didn't save that, and so I had to quickly throw this together. But here we go. Okay, so Rayanne, you are going to kick off the Podquester Mini Winners at War draft. Let's waste no more time. I hope you have in mind who you would like for your first pick.
Oh, definitely.
Here we go.
I think it's pretty obvious who I'm going to pick. Of course, I'm going to be supporting the other trans woman, so I'm going to go for Sharifa.
All right, Sharifa.
Pick one, Sharifa.
You know, I have to say, Sharifa was definitely on our list, and this is a gut punch. So thanks a lot, Rayanne. I feel good about Sharifa. I think Sharifa played a great game her last time. Of course, she played a stealthy, under the radar social game up through the pre-jury phase, and then kicked it into gear and played a hard jury game, end game, where she secured the win. So I think that she could do pretty much a similar thing this game if she were to ride that middle wave and let the bigger targets kind of take each other out earlier on.
Yeah, and I think she knows the value of the one-on-one. Like, once you're like one-on-one with her, it's really hard to ever go against her because she makes you feel so comfortable, so safe. She's really personable, and I think that combined with her aggressive gameplay, which she is very possible of, is just makes her very scary and makes her a very good pick, and I'm excited to see what she will do.
Yeah, I think watching that mini, she's probably the only person since I started watching these that I was able to pick out as a winner pretty much from the beginning. And I think that looking at this crew, like a lot of people, if they're going to want to win again, have to change their games a lot. I don't think that Sharifa does, except for the fact that we're all singing her praises and love her and think that she's going to do great.
Yeah.
So if it weren't for the fact that we were all drafting these, I think she could win again playing the exact same game, but we might have just challenged her a little bit.
It's a good point.
I think you have to keep in mind, though, that we're going to pretty much sour everyone's game by the end of this. So everyone's really going to have to play hard. They all know each other's games. And if they're pre-gaming as hard as Audrey says that they are, then I would imagine that they're all well aware of the type of game that each other has played.
I feel like Sharifa is really well connected, too. And I think that's going to be important in this game with as much pre-gaming that's going on.
Whether she herself is actually actively doing any pre-gaming or not, I think that that kind of connection with people is going to allow her to have like already a pretty decent relationship with people where she can kind of find herself into a good position going into the mid game. All right. Well, that takes us to our turn.
All right.
Mallory, I'll let you pick first out of the two of us.
Well, I feel like we know what we need to do. We know who our number one pick is. I know who mine is.
Oh, okay.
And that's our man Louis.
Yes, of course. If you didn't think that we were gonna pick Louis first, you're off your rocker, because Louis is, of course, the other half of Podquester Mini. He is a great part of our show here. We enjoy him, of course. I'm not trying to tank his game by saying that. But I think that he is someone who has a very cool head. And I think that regardless of whether you are familiar with him or whether you're threatened by him, in a game as chaotic as Sequester, having people in the game who can be cool-headed like him can be invaluable when you're having to worry on whether or not people are going to turn on you or get mad at you based off of a vote that you did the previous round. It's nice to have someone that I think I remember him saying in the game he won things like, that was last round, don't worry about that. Like, that's fine. Like when people tried to apologize to him about things. So I think that he's someone who's willing to tackle on the twist and work together with the group to make it to the next round. And I think that that's a pretty style of gameplay.
Yeah, someone in the mini that Louis won. I think one thing that Louis did really well is people have to remember that the mini literally right before Louis gets dragged in something like 18th, 17th, 16th area, comes back, wins in a game I'm playing in. And one thing that Louis does so well, and the skill he does really well, is kind of like you said, each round he doesn't make you feel like he's against you, but also he's very good at making you feel like you're the person directing the action. Kind of people say in Survivor, you want to make people think that things were their own idea. And I think that's probably Louis' biggest skill, is kind of directing the conversation one way and catalyzing it and letting the other person come up with the name, come up with the conclusion that he wants to get them to. So I think it's a really great pick.
Thank you.
I feel good about it too. Yeah, nice. Great. I'd say we're winning this draft so far. We could probably end the stream right now, but
we're definitely saving our friendship with Louis.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Louis, I'm in the chat, so he's not going to be pissed at us. That's a bullet dodge there.
What if Louis wasn't in the chat? Would you have still picked him?
I would have.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind this is going to be archived later, so
Fair.
Of course, yes, absolutely, Louis. First pick, no matter what. All right, so Burley, you are up for your pick. Where's your head at? What do you think?
My head is at a place where I find the cast very interesting, because you have roughly kind of like a 12-8, 13-7 split of kind of people from Sequester or who are like icons in something else or have a significant following in something else, and then people who we know as mini winners. And I think that difference is kind of interesting, and thinking who will be advantaged and disadvantaged in that is really interesting to think about. You have Puya and Cameron and Aman and Kim and like these people who are larger than life. I'm going to pick Cameron because I think she might have the best chance out of that group.
Interesting.
I disagree, but
yeah. I don't know. I guess I should probably disclaimer any commentary that I have on the fact that like all 20 of these people won their minis, which is something that the 6 of us have all tried and failed miserably to do.
Mm-hmm.
So having lost to Cameron, I want to first like respect her. But I think that there are different things that I'm looking at and evaluating winner chances. And one of them is, how did they get their first win? Like you have someone like Sharifa who started off kind of on like as an underdog, and then she really rose to an occasion. Cameron came into her last mini as a name, a known quantity. So it's a somewhat early target, but by the end of the game, she was public enemy number 0. Like she was targeted round after round after round. And while she was skilled at finding LOSs, my big criticism of her game was she never really got that target off of her. So I think that she totally earned her win when she got it, but you got to acknowledge that there was a ton of luck there. And so, like, she could totally get lucky again, and she's coming in with a different tapestry of people. So she's got the skills, but I don't know if she's as proven as some of these other big names.
I totally see that, Andy. I am totally divorcing that from her first game. I'm more looking at it from a cast analysis perspective, where I think, like, there is a Sequester culture of, like, keeping in big names to some degree. And I think of the people that are somewhat outside of the only mini community, I think maybe she can play a different game. Because kind of like you said, I think people will have to play a different game. So I think she has that upside. But I totally see what you're saying.
If it were up to me, you could have gotten her round 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she would have dropped a WoW.
All right, so Cameron, locking in with Cameron Charlie.
Yep.
Okay, then Jordan, here's your time for your first pick. What do you think?
So there are 2 people still on the board that I was not expecting to be on the board. I thought they were both going to get snatched up right away. So I'm torn, but I don't want to say who they are in case someone wants to steal the other one.
No, you can say it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No. I'm fine. But, oh yeah, TR, by the way, your mic's screwing up.
Okay, you talk for just a second. Pick your person. I'm going to drop out and come right back in. Okay.
Oh, cool. I don't think you can do that if you're streaming, but okay. So I'm going to go with, he said make my pick, right?
Yeah, your pick.
Okay, so the person that I'm picking, she played my first org with me like 5 years ago. We've played together multiple times. She's hosted me. She's an absolute gem. I'm taking Kim frickin' Matina. Like, oh, I can't believe she was still on the board. I love Kim. Love Kim.
What about her game do you like?
Sorry?
What about her game are you like really like into?
Kim, like, she's just, it doesn't matter if it's like a long-term game. It doesn't matter if it's a mini or a one-night game. It doesn't matter if it's a live game. Like, she's good at them all. She's an absolute sweetheart until you cross her. Like, I feel like people.
I'm sorry, who did we pick?
Kim.
All right, Kim.
Like, she won the live version. She's won the mini. Like, she's just awesome. I love Kim, and I'd be stunned if people weren't wanting to work with her coming into it. So,
you don't think she runs the risk of being a Sandra?
No, I don't think so, because I think Sequester's format is one that changes so often that it's like if they let her get too far, she's just gonna sneak by to the end. Like, I wouldn't be concerned about it, honestly. I think everybody loves Kim, and they're all winners. So it's like if you're gonna clock her for being a winner, you have to clock everyone else.
It's a very fair point. All right, and I'm sure whatever the rest of what you said while I had to dip out for tech issues was equally as...
I just made fun of you for yelling at me.
Gotcha. It's fitting and fair, and I welcome it. All right, so Kim, we're locking in on Kim. Is that right, Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay, Kim, solid first pick. Would love to know if you want to DM me who that second pick was. Maybe I can help
us out and
help me out. I don't know. I'm realizing now that would be impossible because the snake is going to let you pick again before me, so it's a flawed plan. But
I'll let you know after if I.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. All right, so Andy, it's time for your first pick, and now don't forget you're going to immediately have to pick again. So I hope you have 2 people in mind here.
Oh, I don't, but this is going to be fun.
Wonderful.
At this point, my exclusive goal is to try to figure out who Jordan's other person was.
Yeah, get him.
This draft is becoming very much a strategy game of its own.
Absolutely.
I will Venmo you to not take my person.
So full disclosure, I said this right before we went live. Not only am I pretty new to Sequester, I've only been watching pretty much since my first mini. I'm not part of any sort of org community. So any opinion I have on a player who I have not watched or played with is going to be like super baseless, but also 100% objectively correct. So my first pick, I'm going to take somebody who I definitely, after watching them play, I think that they have a very solid social game. They have built very strong relationships within their game, but they're also not afraid to cross somebody who steps to them the wrong way. And I'm going to take Jacob
I think it's a really good pick.
I think that going into this mini, there are a lot of people who historically have played kind of for the fans or for a good show. And I think that that's the biggest mistake that any of these players can make. Because at the end of the day, the best show is going to be the one that happens when everybody is playing fully in their self-interest. And I think that that's something that Jacob does really well. I think that he's less concerned with how his game comes across if the moves he makes aren't to his advantage. So I think he's got some good longevity in here.
I think that's very fair. I think Jacob is a really great player. I played with him once briefly together, and I think what was his first game and my first game, and then watching him play in the game that he won, it was very entertaining to see his social game, but also see how he navigated things like his fight with Frankie and the end game there. And I think that he will be someone who is just going to be very entertaining to watch, regardless of if he's first boot or makes it to the end. Like, I think it's going to be very fun to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So second pick, Andy, what have you got?
All right, I'm now between two people.
Oh, if you want to DM me the second person, again, totally fine.
I'll send you a fake name. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So I probably made a mistake watching and looking at a lot of other drafts just to see where people were going. So I might be overestimating this person. I might be underestimating this person. It's somebody that I have not seen play. However, based on what I do know about this person, if I were to come up to them in a mini, never in a million years would I target them, and I would probably try to work with her for a very, very long time, and that is Beth. So I'm going to take Beth. All I know about Beth is that she was voted out, came back, and then won, and is now incredibly heavily involved in the community. So I don't know what that means for her this game, but I'm excited to see what she can bring. And it's been long enough since she won that the game has changed. Let's see what she's got.
Beth,
this is
coming back in and winning.
A funny point by Marcus. You pick a great social threat in Jacob, and then someone who primarily targets social threats in Beth. So your two picks might target each other in the game earlier on, and
that means one of them's going to last a long time. They don't all have to get to the end. I just need the winner.
All right,
so a lot, right?
Oh yeah, she's like the singing mod.
Yeah, which I'm here for that. So I want her to sing in the game. Sing your vote.
I think Beth is a great choice. I feel like Beth is one of the most articulate winners that we've had, and just speaks very eloquently, can explain her game very well. As long as she can make it far, I think Beth has a great chance of taking home the ultimate title.
Especially, slaying those final two jury answers.
I've also seen her podcast and talk about the game before, and I think she's really well versed in it. She really knows how to handle rounds. I think she has a good mind for it, and I'm really excited to see what she can do. She was going to be my second choice if I got the chance. So I'm bummed.
Yikes.
Was either of them your pick, Jordan? Was either of them the person you were going to take?
No.
Sure. Good cover.
I feel like I know Jordan's.
You do?
I have. We'll see.
I have a good guess, Mallory. Yeah.
I think I know too. Actually,
I feel like everyone.
Okay, you know what? I think I have my own guess then. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure everybody knows who I'm going for.
Susie has a fair point. Don't forget that you yourself can partake in your own Sequester draft if you use @DraftSequester on Twitter. I believe this was what was created by Rayanne, if that's right. Am I right?
No,
or Renee, right.
I can't do that.
Rayanne, right. I don't know what I was thinking there. Created by Renee. So be sure to support her. You can participate. I did one last week, and it's fun. It's super easy. You pick 8 names off the list, and if you've seen people posting their own individual draft list picks, it's more than likely this is what they were using. So be sure to use that yourself if you want to do your own draft. All right, Jordan, that brings us back around to your second pick. Let's finally reveal it. Let's get it open once and for all. Who is it?
Shocker. It's Muna. Like, it's gotta be Muna. Like, I played with her in my original season. We played Heroes versus Villains. She just played my Survivor org. Like, we're really tight. Like, and we like a bunch of people who played our original mini, like 5 or 6 of us, like who were in it near the end. We were live watching the Survivor one, like in a room together. So like we all got to talk to Muna, see like where her head's at going into it. Like anyone who's been watching Muna or Sequester knows who Muna is. Like I'd be stunned if these pre-games weren't reaching out and she wasn't involved in them. Like I'd be stunned. She's went far both times she's played. Like she's phenomenal player.
1st and 6th, like that might just be scoreboard on Sequester Mini, right? Like if you're playing twice, like 1st and 6th is like insane. Like
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit nervous because I think she is going to go in as a really huge target. I feel like at Winners at War, she was seen as like the huge fan favorite, kind of untouchable, but I feel like a lot of these winners don't really care. And I could see her getting targeted because if she makes it to the end, she wins because she's doing that, you know?
And she was she was the fan favorite on my original mini. Like everybody loved Muna. Everybody loves Muna. So like if there's anything with the fans early on, like she's gonna be just fine. And I think she's fine. I don't see an issue with her. I'm like people are gonna want to work with her because she's Muna.
I think people are gonna want to get rid of her because she's Muna. I think that
it's going to be very tough to see how the cast all operates with each other because I feel like you have some people who, like all of these people are clearly great players. They've all made it here. And I think Muna is probably going to be my next pick.
Yeah, I would have agreed.
You know, I think like all of these players are going in with some amount of target or another, but Muna definitely has one of the bigger ones here. And so it's going to be interesting to see if people are going to be as drawn to her as they were in her first 2 games, like if that's able to continue, or if people are going to be more cautious of her or like, you know, gunning, like if they're going to be gunning for her earlier on. So it's going to be interesting to see how the dynamics all play out. But she, of course, herself is an excellent player, and that's a great pick. And I kind of feel like yelling at you about it.
I mean, you can. Like, I'll yell back though.
I'm gonna control myself. I'm gonna control myself here. Okay.
We're working on him.
I'm sure I don't have to ask, but you're locking in on Muna there. Is that right?
Of course.
Okay. Well, Muna is locked in then. Charlie, what is
wait,
your?
I'll take 1 second just to also
Please.
say congrats to Muna on graduating.
Yes.
Congratulations, Muna.
It was like, I think, wasn't it in the same weekend or in the same few days leading up to her win on the Heroes versus Villains, right?
Yeah, we graduated on the same weekend.
What a banner weekend.
I just assume she graduated during the final 2.
Absolutely. As for my pick, it's tough. I'm really torn between 2 people who I both feel strongly about. I think I will likely be able to get either of them on the wheel. So I'll try not to be too stressed out, and I am going to take Josh W.
Damn, that's another very good pick.
I feel really strongly about Josh W for a couple of reasons. Unlike Cameron, I did play with Josh, and we were against each other in the game that we were in. But one thing that Josh does really well is I think he's very good at playing a winning game throughout his game without kind of coming across as a target. He is not afraid to engage in conversations, engage in discourse in the game, engage in the goings-on of, you know, who's being targeted, but also doesn't need to be overly assertive, overly, you know, dominant. And I think striking that balance is going to be a really important thing for this game. I think if there's any downside, it's going to be maybe, you know, playing once and maybe not having those pregame connections. But I think Josh W played maybe one of the more dominant games of the Sequester Mini winners. There are only a couple of people who have won by 5-2 or 6-1 in Sequester at all. And so I feel really good about that pick.
I think he is, in my mind, kind of like a Dash in the sense that they both had one of the more like one of the funnier games of the winners. Like I think that they just had a lot of really funny, really good like TV moments in their minis, and so I'm really hoping that they both live up to that respectively and bring that on Friday. And that's another pick that I'm very, very jealous of.
Yeah, was that our first mini that we watched, Josh's?
Yeah, I think that might have been the very first mini we watched, was the one that Josh won against Alan P. Hands in the final two. And yeah, what a mini. Wow. That was a good one. Okay, well, Charlie, you can go back, and if there's anyone you want to switch it to, unless you're locked in.
I'm locked in. I'm locked in on Josh, and I'm happy about it. You're all fools for not picking Josh. That's all I have to say. You're all fools.
Wow, damn. Okay.
Especially Jordan.
I mean, I'm happy with my two picks.
I'm throwing out names.
I'm thrilled until they lose.
There you go. Exactly. Okay, so that brings it back around to us, and I believe I would get the pick out of the two of us, right?
First.
So I'm gonna mute myself for.
This is where it goes all downhill.
I feel like you guys should have to bicker out loud.
This is pretty good.
They're literally just fighting
imagine,
over
like-
who has to clean the litter box.
If they're gonna take so long, can I pick instead?
Oh damn. Okay. I'm torn between like
5 people.
It was 3 people. I'm torn between 3 people. Oh, I don't feel good. I feel sick.
Just go by the alphabet. Choose the person
Okay.
that comes first.
You know what? That's actually very fair that you said that, because this person in their winning game, they, in conjunction with Taryn Armstrong, gamed the Final 5 majority rules game, and using an alphabet system, were able to win. So using the same alphabet system here, I'm going to go out of the 3 people I had picked with Aman, the first letter in the alphabet. We're going to go ahead and lock Aman in here. Regardless of the pre-gaming aside, I think that Aman played a really, really strong game, and he was someone who was a target earlier on and was able to evade that and then land himself into a really, really, really solid position going into his end game. And I think he's someone who, clearly with his background, like he has a really good know-how for strategy, and I think he is someone who's going to be able to navigate whatever kind of crazy new twist or something weird or random that might pop up for the first time on Friday's mini. I think that's another solid, cool-headed person to pick, and I just feel great.
I'm happy with that pick.
Okay.
I was happy with the 5 names that you threw out.
There's again 3.
There's no bad pick. That's what makes it hard.
This is a very, very hard a hard mini. There are so many good people to pick. So I know that there's some people watching. So if you're not picked right away, doesn't mean you're not great. It means that it's very tough. We've got a great cast here.
You're all better than us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go. 100%. Okay, so Rayanne, that brings it back to you. And now, just like Andy had, we're snaking around. So you have 2 picks here. So I hope to God you have 2 people in mind.
I do, I think.
Okay, perfect. Let's find out.
I'm gonna go with Mary Payton.
Mary Payton. Oh, solid pick. MP. Okay. Now, what's your reasoning behind that, Rayanne?
The reason I'm doing this is because I think she played one of the most dominant games of Sequester. During the Sequester minis, she was pretty much in the forefront the whole time, and she won a 7-0 vote, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Against Robert, who was in Heroes vs. Villains, and he's a great player. So I think that speaks a lot to how she played. I think also in Sequester Live, we saw her play in a very different way, a very low-key way. And I think she has the ability to do both. I've also played a little org mini that was hosted by Albie one time, and she was so good in it. She has this, I think she does really well socially, and she has the ability to be underestimated by people. But I think out of the other Sequester Live players, she's not going to be as big as the target, because I just feel like people just underestimate her. But I think she's fantastic.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Is she the only person to win 7-0?
I think Beth also won 7-0.
Okay. I was going to ask.
You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think I saw someone tweet that today.
But I was going to. Between 7-0s and 6-1s is huge between 4-3s and 5-2s. There's only, even when you include the 6-1s, like 5 or 6. Like most final 2 votes are ostensibly kind of close.
Yeah, I think it means a lot though to have somebody like, and knowing that you can win 7-0 like that's intense because that means number one, your game is heavily respected, and number two, you didn't burn anybody. So I don't see why someone wouldn't want to align with MP right away.
Yeah.
It is rare that you see someone like I didn't watch Beth play, but having watched Mary Payton's game where she won, she also was someone who was good TV, was very fun to watch, and really didn't burn really any bridges with one who at least made it to jury, who had a deciding factor in the vote.
Yeah.
And it was fun to see. I mean, nothing against Robert, but it was fun to see someone make it that far and be that beloved by everyone. It's not always fun to see a clean sweep vote, but it's very impressive and respectable and cool when you do see it, you know.
But also, like you said, no disrespect to Robert, even more than that.
Of course not.
I think Robert could have beat 3 of the final 7 or something.
Oh yeah. It's just going up against someone like MP. Absolutely.
Which is huge too, because you could think, there are people who have some of these people who have beaten who, enough said.
Oh, okay. All right. So Mary Payton, that's what we're locking in on for the first of your 2 picks, Rayanne. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the second person. Who's it going to be? We're snaking around.
I'm gonna pick Dash.
You have like the most dramatic, iconic team.
Well, I love Dash because not only was he the one that dubbed me Slayan, but I just think he's so much fun to watch. I feel like it's impossible not to want to see him do well. I want to see him go far. I just loved everything about his last mini he played. It's probably my favorite Final Four ever. Dash with the puzzle was iconic. I hope he does bring more alcohol, but I think the fact that he was able to win so blacked out, and he's probably going to come in a lot more sober. So I just feel like that Dash will be here to play. I think he's well connected. He's always tweeting. He's always talking to people. He's always saying nice things about the winners. I feel like he's someone that people would reach out to. And did he give Kelly Wentworth advice last week?
Yeah, I think that's fair. They had a FaceTime call or something.
Because I feel like his head's really into it. I feel like he thinks about the game a lot. I feel like he's one of the few that are a student of the game. So I can see him do well. And this will be his 4th time playing. And I feel like playing minis a bunch really helps you get the format down, get your legs under you. And I don't know. I just like him.
No, I think that's a very fair pick. I think Dash is someone who is one of those strong, entertaining players that, for the most part, I think everyone kind of has a mutual understanding that's we got to leave this person in for a while. That alone, if he, and that's to say, if he was a bad player, he could coast on that, alone to a mid game or jury, but he isn't a bad player. So I think that teamed up with his capabilities as a strategic game player, I think are going to put him in a really good position. I think, again, this is going to be a very, very cutthroat mini. There's so many good people to pick, and this is very, very hard, which I know is a good segue for you. Have you made this hard decision? Because it's our turn now.
I forgot we were up next.
Assuming, of course, that we're locking in on Dash, Rayanne. Is that right?
Yes. He is also my boyfriend's favorite Sequester winner. So there's something for him to be happy about.
There you go. We got to give him some stake in your team. He's got to have something to root for too.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So, Mallory, survey the people that we have left here. Talk us through what's going through your head.
This is really, I hate making decisions. So you said a couple of names when we were on mute.
Okay, we're agreeing now that it was only a few and not 5 or 10 or whatever you were saying.
It felt like 5.
Okay, great.
But and I think those were good. Honestly, Rayanne, you just took 2 people that I probably would have chosen.
I'm here to defeat you. You beat me so badly last time.
By a hair.
You had 3 people in the final 8.
Y'all both trust me.
I do have a special touch. I feel okay, so far we're very male dominated on our team. I think we need some female energy.
Yeah, you do.
And I think that this person is very now I'm changing my you're making this so hard.
Okay.
I hate being on a team with you. I'm gonna go with Alex. Okay. And here's why. because I think that Alex has a little bit of star power coming into this. Obviously, we just came off of Heroes versus Villains, where we had Rachel, and we saw Rachel do really well in that game. I think that Alex will be able to stick around for a little bit, maybe up until jury, and then as we saw in our, BB Mini, she has the capability to get aggressive when she needs to and play hard towards the end. So I think that Alex is a really good shot going into this. She's kind of untouchable to begin with. The team is me and sluts.
You are a celebrity.
You're a celebrity, Louis.
Yeah, Louis, in my head, you're a celebrity.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah. All right.
So-
yeah.
How do you guys think Alex is going to do coming into a game where she doesn't have numerous connections from outside the world of Sequester? Because that played into her last game.
I would say that we would all just have to assume that everyone is doing their fair share of pre-gaming. I would say that, of course, if Alex comes in having not done any pre-gaming and she has less connections than obviously most of these other players have, that's going to put her in a kind of a sticky situation. But, if she reaches out to even like Brent or someone to like put her in connection with someone, or if she reaches out to like Amon, or reaches out to, I feel like there are opportunities for her to pregame and set herself up to at least have a solid
couple people,
little faction going in where she's not at as much of a disadvantage as some other players.
I think it's also important to note that during Big Brother Over the Top, she was pretty much one of the dominating forces in the Ball Smashers and their success. So I see her as someone who can play a game with a bunch of people she doesn't really know, or just like knowing a few people because she had her sister there. And I think she's not afraid to like lead an alliance, make a move. So I think that's also will contribute to her doing well in this game.
Yeah, I think Alex is great. I think BBOTT was questionable in terms of its strategic prowess. I'm super anti-Scott, so I had to root against Alex for a while. But yeah, I mean, I probably would have picked her if it got to me. So not going to fault you on that. Just want to figure out somebody that I can say mean things about.
So are we locking in?
We're locking
in. Okay, Charlie. That brings us to your third pick.
I
had of the wire.
The first 5 or 6 picks, I was like, you guys are really feeling similar things to me. Like, this is all kind of like we're gelling. At this point, no. I have people who I think are top tier left on the draft board. So I'm putting all of you on blast because I think
this is our Podquest.
What the hell?
Yeah. Boot me. I'll just come back. All right. I'm gonna take Susie. I think Susie
excellent pick.
Is a late first rounder, early second rounder in most drafts, and I'll go into it a couple of ways. I see Susie being an early target. Like I will give anyone like a pretty good bet on like Susie making it past final, like into final 12. And so I just think that like Susie has not a big target and played a very good game for the size of target that she's playing. I think she's very good at, similar to Josh, kind of making things, participating but not making people perceive her as dominant. And I think in a game like this is going to be a really important skill. And I think she's going to do really well. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Is there any truth to the allegation that you're only doing this because Susie said you were cute in your hat?
No, but there's no truth to that, but I do appreciate that I guess she said that at some point. Maybe during the meeting or something. I don't know.
I think she also gave one of the more dominant final 2 performances. When I was watching her, she was really able to like make her points and go like back into like many different rounds and be very specific with her answers, which I don't think a lot of the winners do, since it's so chaotic. You don't have time to write a bunch of notes. But I felt like when I was watching her, I felt like every answer she gave was solid. And I don't know. I think she has a really good chance of going far.
Yeah. You have to wonder a little bit. Will she be able to beat some of the bigger names in that same final two? But you're right, her final two is really good. So that's one question mark. But I think she's a really solid player, so she'll go far, and I'll take that ticket any day.
Now, Charlie, before you slander any of us any further, I just want to set the record straight that, as I've said, I think time and time again, these are all excellent players, and this is by no means any slight to any of you left over.
Yes.
So no pressure as we hand it on over to Jordan. Jordan, what is going to be your third pick here in the draft?
Well, I was going to take Susie, so I'm a little heartbroken.
Yikes.
But there's one person left who they won. I really don't understand how they won. So their strategy is obviously something I can't figure out.
Wow.
So I think they have a pretty good strategy because I forgot they were in the game and then they won. And I also played with them, so I have to go with AJ. Like AJ, I just didn't think AJ, like looking at how like the numbers kept going down, I was like, there's no way AJ's gonna win this game. Like there's no way AJ's gonna win. Like I didn't even vote for him at the end. I voted for Janine because I thought she deserved it. And he won, and he's one of the winners that like I don't think is very, I don't want to say big, but like he's not like one of the like winner, top tier, like we know who this winner is exactly. And I think like if anything from the Survivor Mini showed us the other night is like anyone can be sitting at the end. Is anyone, like I wasn't overly happy with the two that were sitting at the end, but I think it shows that anybody can make it to the end. And if we're expecting all these big people to go after each other, who's going to be left? So I'm going with AJ. I think he's super solid player. So
I'm curious, Jordan, if you don't know how AJ won, do you think that AJ knows how AJ won?
I think AJ knows how he won. I think AJ knows exactly what he was doing, but it wasn't the game that I typically play or see. Like I'm obviously I live off of chaos. Like that's my game. And I think a lot of people who went far in the night that AJ won, a lot of them were louder, outspoken, like we're getting our way. That's it. AJ just kind of sat back and he didn't speak his mind really until the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, so I think especially in a cast like this with so many big outspoken characters, AJ can be one of those ones that can go very far to the end. Plus, him and Muna worked very close together in AJ's winning game. So he has people that he knows coming in. Plus, he's been active on Twitter for the other minis. So
I see AJ as a really loyal player, and I think it's very rare in a game. Do you ever, and especially with Sequester, do you ever see someone like be very loyal to certain people? But throughout AJ's game, I found him very loyal. Like he really stuck to Muna. He didn't go against her until she had to, and he had different loyalties with different people, which is why I think he was able to stay under the radar and able to keep out of confrontation. I think that's what also led him to his win.
Yeah, and he had enough game awareness to know when it was time to turn on Muna. I think that was important. I'd be curious if he and Muna work together this time, if that raises his stock or if it lowers it. Because I think Muna on her own is dangerous. Muna with a friend is scary.
But I don't think AJ's the person they would take out either. I think like they would target Muna before AJ. And I think that's how AJ won the first time, is he just hid behind all the bigger players. Like he aligned himself with Muna, he aligned himself with me, he aligned himself with Janine. And then when he got to the point where he didn't need him anymore, he just got rid of them. And it ended up with him at the end. Like he took out like me, Janine, and Muna all in a row. And then there he was sitting at the end.
Fair news.
All right. Well, Jordan, if you're locking in on AJ, that brings us to Andy, your third and fourth picks here in the final snake portion of this snake draft. So what'll it be, Andy? What are you thinking?
All right. So, and I'm going to be very clear about this being my round 3 pick and not my round 4 pick. My rationale is going to be eerily similar to Jordan's, where there's somebody left on this board who I don't know how they won. And in fact, being in the game with the person, I was very perplexed about how they won. And even rewatching their game several times over, it took me a minute to figure out how they won. I'm going to take Daniel. And yeah, I'm really happy that Ryan had her pick where it was.
I'm really enjoying this rationale. I think that's an interesting standpoint to take when picking your players. I respect it. I think it's a cool standpoint.
Well, so here's the thing on Daniel, and I do actually have a clearer picture on how he won after several weeks of trying to figure this out. Because as you guys know, when you play, you continue to talk to your cast and you start to figure out who was actually aligned with whom and what was going on. Daniel and I started in the same room. We made a very quick alliance with Bridget. And really a lot of the game that we played together was run by some very massive characters. We had Bridget, we had Keely, we had Tony, and the three of them were like kind of focal points for all of the strategy. And we also had Brittany S was in there with us. Like we had a lot of really, really strong players. So there was a large portion of the game that was spent kind of just worrying about those four people and none of the rest of us ever figuring out how to take them out. So as the numbers started to dwindle, you started to like kind of collect who was in your army. And I felt really tight with Bridget and I felt really tight with Daniel. And what I came to find out later was that Daniel also made a very tight alliance with Keely, and Daniel made a very tight alliance with Maddie, who he ended up going to the final two with. I would argue out of our final like 7, the only person that Daniel definitely beats at the end of that game is Maddie. And he made a couple of very subtle moves along the way to make sure that that was the result he got. Not to pat myself on the back, but I think the best move he made was taking me out at the final 5, because I was not gunning for him and neither was Bridget. He was going to sit in the final 4 with us, but the only way that he was sure he was winning that game was sitting in the final 2 with Maddie. I think that was an incredibly wise move, heavily underrated, and now going into this new Winners at War game, nobody knows what to expect from him. I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know if he's pre-gaming. I don't know where he's at with anybody. And that unknown factor is really going to play into how this game turns out, because I think that he could be an early boot. I think that he can go deep and then just be kind of disposed of. Or I think he can win, and it all depends on how he changes his game. He's not going to win playing the same game. So what's going to be different this time? I'm kind of excited to see it.
Yeah, I also played with him. So in my opinion, I feel like one of his greater strengths is you're able to sit in a room with him and talk for him for a really long time, and you can start like ignoring. Like I remember during my elimination round, I was sitting with him and I should have been around like scrambling, but I just got stuck in a conversation with him for a really long time. I kept on listening because I feel like he has this ability just to talk, even if it's not what you need right now in the game, to get you to listen. And like it screwed me over in the end. So
Ray and Andy, in both of your games at maybe final 10, that kind of period when you're starting to think, oh, I could win, like, oh, who am I thinking about? Did either of you have Daniel in that group? Because everyone has that group when you get that far.
By the time we hit jury, I wanted to go to the final 2 with Daniel because I thought that I could beat him. And I think a lot of people had that same opinion.
Daniel was someone who I was working with, not super closely, but we talked about the both a lot, so I wanted to go far with Daniel as well. And that's why I think he's just really good at building relationships. And with, at least, let's say, like my first 2 picks, and like I would say with Dash, a lot of my picks, it's a lot about how they build relationships. And I think Daniel could also be a part of that. So that's why.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to go far.
You did really well that game, Ryan.
So that really says a lot for him, just those 2,
Yeah, he was such an afterthought for me, just because I thought that he was a number that I thought I had locked up, and he was the reason that I went out. His vote sent me home, so he completely blindsided me, and I thought that play on its own really it tipped him ahead for me when it came to the jury vote.
I think he's a very consistent player. You always, if he tells you who he's voting for, that's who he's voting for. If he doesn't know who he's voting for, he really doesn't know. Which I think people really utilize him to get votes going the way they want, and because of that, people aren't targeting him.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to play the same way he played with us, but I think that whatever he does, that he's got potential. Whatever he does, so I'm curious to see how it goes.
All right. Now, you specified that was your 3rd round pick, not your 4th round pick. So if we're talking, please, why?
Because I like him better than the other 5.
Gotcha.
I don't know who most of them are.
Well, if we're locking Daniel in for your third round pick, then that snakes us around to your fourth and final pick. So, Andy, please, what's it going to be?
Okay. So we're gonna have to play the eeny meeny game because now we're getting to people whose success I don't know. So like,
I would say I know three of these.
I know one of their games very well because I watched it start to finish. I played with one of them for about 5 minutes, and that whole game goes totally different if her internet doesn't break. Like totally different. But I am going to take Puya.
That's a good pick that you're snatching up there.
I am. Mostly because he texted Louis nice things about me.
I remember that. Yes, that's right.
But that's about it. I know enough about him, and I know enough about the fact that he's done enough commentary on the game that he's been paying attention. He has enough game savvy, even though some people say that Leanna ran the show when he won. I think that he's still going to be enough of a force, and I do think in the battle of RHAP, if I'm in the game, I target Amon before I target Puya. So with round 4, I'm happy with that pick.
Well, that's great then. Okay, well, if we're locking in Andy with Puya there, I think that's probably someone who, out of the final players here, that was in my final 2 or 3 that I was leaning towards.
There's like 4 people left.
Yeah, well, that was in my final 2 or 3 I was leaning towards. So
does that mess up our celeb plus Louis?
It really does. So damn you, Andy.
Damn you, Andy.
All right. Well, if we're good and done with that pick, and there's no going back, then we'll move on to Jordan's final pick. Jordan, there's 4 players here left for you to choose.
Yeah. I'm really glad Andy didn't take the person that I wanted because I was not overly thrilled with the rest of the people left. No offense to them. I'm not overly excited about them. But I'm gonna go with Emily. I've seen her in the chat tonight, so she's obviously trying to be social, trying to be around before the game started. I think I saw that she's using a friend's internet or something, so she won't disconnect. So it gives me
very wise.
I don't really know her. I think she said something in the chat about she was a winner that won by like a big margin or something. Like I said, I don't really know her. I didn't start watching till like basically I played and then after. So I don't know who she is, but I'm gonna take a shot in the dark because I'm not, like I said, I'm not really happy with the others that are there. So yeah.
Emily was in my my other 2 or 3 that I was leaning towards. I didn't see her.
Say that about all 4 of them.
I love them all.
That's great.
I didn't see Emily's winning game per se. I saw the one she played in with Louis where Louis won.
I was there.
And Charlie was in that as well. Because that was the game that was for the lost episode of this show. So that was the mini that I watched where I took note of every single thing that happened in every room of every round, and I interviewed a bunch of the players. And Emily is one of the players that I interviewed, and so I got to talk with her about her game, and she was pretty fun to watch. So I think that's a pretty fair pick. Genuinely, that was one of the couple of people I was leaning towards. So you make fun of me all you want, but there's truth to that.
She told me. She DM'd me.
I told you I got you, Jordan.
Thank
you. Honestly, you slayed.
Okay, so if you're feeling good about Emily, then we can move on to Charlie's final pick. Charlie, of these 3 fine folks left, where are you leaning?
I am gonna go with Johnny Stockton.
And what's your reasoning behind that?
There are 4 people I never saw play. The 3 people who are left, and Beth. So
you didn't see him play?
No, but I know he was this weekend, which is part of why I'm picking him.
Okay, well, so he was a little divisive in the sense that he had some fun moments. In his intro video, he claimed that he was going to be drunk by round 3 or whatever. And one of the rounds into the game, when the safety roulette happened, he urged everyone in his room to leave so he could be by himself because he wanted to risk being alone against the wheel. So not to discredit his gameplay, but you've got a wild card on your team there, Charlie, and I think that's actually
that's how I like it, TR.
I think that's fitting.
These are my top 2, top 5, top 7. I'm picking Johnny. I didn't see him play, but I'll tell you this much: Johnny Stockton. That sounds like an action figure.
Okay. I don't know when the last time an action figure won a social strategy game was.
Johnny Stockton, Andy. What are you talking about?
There you go. Come back, Charlie. I think that it's very fitting for a wild card like you, Charlie, to have a wild card like Johnny on your team, and I think that even if he's as brazen to challenge the wheel or do something similar in the game, even if it takes him out this time, I think he's gonna go out swinging and be fun to watch. So he's another person I'm looking forward to see play again.
If Johnny wins. I during that whole game, like I love risk. I love people taking chances, making mistakes, and getting messy. There were things that Johnny did that were not risky. They were just stupid. And there's a difference there. And hey, he did something that I couldn't do. He beat a cast of 22 people, which is also that's worth noting.
Yeah, of all the winners going into this game, he is the only winner to have won against a supersized cast. So take that for what it's worth. That's kind of a feat in and of its own.
But he also sat in the final 2, said he was a mega super fan, and said he was the first time to be in the finals twice, and then posted that on social media again. Like, as somebody who's not a big fan, I've heard of Dakota. Like, I don't know where your head's at, man.
Real talk. Well, I'm gonna say I didn't know any of that, but I'll say this as well.
Well, if you could unlock out of Johnny and pick someone else.
Have his pick.
Switch.
I've been asking. Are you locked in? If you want, you can switch to someone
I feel
else.
like PR just wants.
Yeah,
Johnny.
no, I think that'd be fun. We didn't get one switch in this entire draft.
Right,
so
for the first time in draft history, I'm gonna go with Rory.
Okay. I talked to you about that's great because now I'm gonna pick Johnny.
I think you should switch back to Johnny.
All right, we're picking Rory. Why are you switching to Rory, Charlie?
I know Rory was one of the earlier ones, so maybe people will forget about him.
Okay, great.
Wow. Something offensive or something? What did he do?
No, I don't know. He's
okay. I missed it.
I'm more so happy because no offense to Rory or Jamie, but of the 2 people that you were going to leave me with, I had not seen either of them play. So that's where my excitement comes from. Because
I know Rory from like the org community, but
what are your thoughts?
He's a friend. There's
Rory's a good villain. Is that
there's
true?
a reason I didn't pick it. I think he can be very messy. I didn't see his mini because I think he played like the first or second one, but he can be very snaky. He can be very messy, and when he gets caught, like he gets caught. So I don't know how that'll be in a cast like this, but I'm not overly like, yeah, I don't know.
So what are we thinking? Are you locked in on Rory? Are you going to switch to Jamie, or what do you?
I'm locking it in.
All right, okay. We're locking in.
I didn't want Jamie because in his picture he's like, and the thing is,
he's like
down or forward in a photo. Down or forward. Why are you looking up left? What?
Maybe he sees someone longingly in the distance.
He's looking for LOS.
Photo. I don't know what to tell you.
He is looking for LOS. That's right. That's great. Okay, wow. Thank you for making Podquester Mini drafting history by switching your pick. I didn't think we'd ever see the day, but here it is.
It won't be the last one, PR.
I hope to God you're right, Charlie, because thanks to your last minute switching.
We can choose Jamie.
Thanks to your last minute switching. You picked the last pick. Let's not forget that. So I get to pick this pick. You picked Alex, and again, no offense to Jamie. I'm sure he probably is looking for LOSs. I'm sure he's going to find a bunch. But I'm going to go with Johnny. All of the things that wildcard things aside that I said a few moments ago, I'm going with Johnny. We're all in.
Let me tell you about his game. He did a
Did
thing.
you know he went by himself
Oh my God.
on a wheel?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Really?
Yeah.
That's how it went.
But you could switch to Jamie if you wanted.
Oh,
Yeah, there is time.
yeah, let's go ahead and switch to Jamie. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch to Jamie.
Jamie.
Right.
don't care about
No.
My
Can't
power.
Charlie have his moment.
I don't
I
want
want
Charlie to have the
Jamie.
last laugh in the switching here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Jamie.
Johnny is gonna win this thing.
Which
Congrats, Rayanne.
Rayanne, that leaves you with Johnny. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I actually wanted Jamie. So that's who I would have was hoping to be left with.
Good.
So I'm
Yes.
kind of, I'm here with Johnny. I feel bad that we all just rejected him after picking
No,
him
no,
so many
no.
times.
No,
Johnny's
no,
like a
no.
super cool guy. I just
To be
don't
fair,
see his
yeah,
chances in this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No hard
If Andy
feelings.
had taken
Johnny.
Emily, I was gonna take Johnny.
He was a fun person to have on the podcast and chit chat with. I have nothing against him personally.
I like his
Just-
photo. He looks great. I didn't watch his mini. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
That was such a long
PR.
podcast.
I did it for a bit. Okay, I did it, and I'm not going to back down on it, and I stand by it. And look at us now. Look at us. Do any of you have any regrets? Look at our
Nope.
draft teams here.
No, my
Let's-
team is beautiful.
Yeah, please, Rayanne,
Yeah.
talk about your team, front to back. Let's hear about them. How are
Well,
you
I
feeling?
have Sharifa. She is a queen. I love her. I have a lot of love for her. She and I have really talked a lot after our first game, and I respect her a lot. I know she's really big into Tumblr orgs, and in that world, she is really feared. So I think she has a really great chance of really making it far, and we've seen how she can turn it up near the end. Mary Payton is beautiful, iconic, fun. She can play 2 different games, which is really exciting. Dash is just great entertainment. He's so infectious. It's really hard to not keep him around. And Johnny, he looks great in that photo. So I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Very dapper photo.
Yeah, he looks like he's got all dressed up. That's nice.
Yeah, he's
I
ready.
would-
He cares.
I would buy anything.
Oh, and if we made it to the finale twice, then I think that is something to be noted.
That's true. That's very true. Go ahead and comment below who you think the cattiest winner is going to be, viewers. Comment that in the chat. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Rayanne, do you feel confident that you're going to be the one winning the draft this time for the
Oh,
podcast?
100%. Last time I was runner-up. This time I'm here to take the crown.
Okay, I would love to isolate some sound bites so we can have timestamps to look back on when one of us wins or horribly, horribly loses. So thank you very much. Okay, well then, Rayanne, we're all good on your team. We're locked in on the final pick. Johnny Stockton, final pick in the draft. Mallory, let's talk about our team.
I have to start.
Yeah, I mean, well, you kind of picked first with Louis, so I'll let you take the lead.
No,
here.
that's fair. I would call our team under the radar team. Whereas Rayanne's team is super iconic, very in your face. I think we went with a lot of players that are going to be sneaky and more behind the scenes and then, stab you in the back.
Interesting.
So I think we see that with Louis. I feel like Louis is able to play a really good social game. I think the same for Alex. As I said, I feel like she's going to be able to be nice to everyone. Everyone's going to want to play with her. She'll be able to stick around for a while. I don't know anything about Jamie. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I might be breaking my own rule with Amon, though. I think Amon's more of an aggressive player.
He's an aggressive player.
But he's also aggressive based on the situation that he's in.
Correct. Yes. So I think it goes
He's
along.
logical.
I think it goes along with what I had said earlier about Louis in the sense that he plays a little bit more aggressively, but it's not like he kind of flies off the handle or is playing chaotically.
Mm-hmm.
He has a cool, logical mind behind what he's doing. And I think that's a really good strategy to have in a game.
Yeah.
If you can play aggressively, but have a handle on it and know what you're doing and why you're making the moves you're making. So I think that he's a good exception to the rule to have on our team. Agreed. I think that we're going to be bringing home the win after the winners at WAW Mini. And I'm not afraid to tell all of my guests on the podcast right now, you all can suck it. You're going to lose. I'm sorry.
Does that mean y'all get half a draft win since you had double the brains? Or what's the rule?
I feel like really you and I should just say if Alex or Louis wins, I really won.
Okay.
And if Amon or Jamie wins,
okay.
you won.
You know what? I'm not
I'm
opposed
good
to
with my
that.
2 picks.
Okay, hold on. I'm not opposed to that. Let's see.
You guys
here.
are side betting? Love that.
This is perfect. Okay, yeah, I'll organize that later. I'll make a little indicator to show your team versus my team, and we'll see who the winning team is. Then, if you want to play it like that.
All right, we'll play it like that.
We'll play it like that. Okay, I thought the Conradis could,
Shut the fuck up. Move on.
All right, Charlie, we're going to your team. Let's recap your team. Charlie, bring us through them.
Rory is. Here's the thing about Rory that we know about Rory. 100% gonna play in Winners at War. We know that for sure. Give him at least some chance. So I would say that there's a good reason that my team is well-rounded. The rest of my 3 people are in, my top 7 or 8 people that I would want. I'm telling you, people are sleeping on Cameron. I think Andy's taking some melatonin. He's taking some ZZ Quill because he is sleeping on Cameron. I'll side bet that my team will do better than Andy's team.
I would side bet that anybody's team will do better than mine, but I don't win these things, so I'll win that bet.
But I'll just say this. I'm really happy for my team. I think they're all really good. I think I drafted well, whatever. And regardless of that, I will also be rooting for Muna and Louie and Emily because I think they're awesome, and Sharifa. Those are 4 people I know somewhat and like. So if they win and I lose, all the better for them. So I got 8 people to root for. I'm doubling my odds, baby.
This is kind of bullshit. This is kind of bullshit because I said talk about your team, not suck up to every other person playing in the game. Because I could double back and say, I love Kim, I love Jacob, I love Beth, I love Muna, I love Daniel, I love Puya. I'm rooting for all of. I'm rooting for everyone in the game. I don't care if I lose. I want you all to win.
No. What? TR, I will again side bet that my team will do better than yours.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm gonna.
And you mean either Jamie or Amon? You'll be better than
TR Mallory.
Yeah.
It's your team versus my team. If any of your people does better than any of my people, I retire the hat forever.
I don't want that.
I don't want to make that bet. That's what.
Resign.
I think that's what should happen if we lose, not if we win.
No, well, I don't want that either. All right, we'll brainstorm on it. We should let Jordan talk about his team.
We'll put our heads together and we'll think about that.
Take the hat off.
Charlie,
no one's making you wear that, Charlie. You can take it off if you want.
Hey,
Charlie, if you're such a gambler, maybe you should have Johnny.
I get it. Susie said you look cute in it, and now you don't want to take it off, but you don't have to wear it forever.
You called me red-handed.
Yeah, see, look at the reactions. No. It's your brand.
I didn't know I was touching a nerve. All right, Jordan, talk about your awesome
Jordan,
team.
Please, let's go. Yes.
So I don't want to make any side bets. I want to say, Mallory, you could bring your 2 people over to my team. We can make a super team if you want.
Yeah.
The offers are here.
I'll attach to everyone, then I win no matter what.
This sucks.
No, I'm super confident about my team. I have some absolute stars in Kim and Muna. I have some more less known people in AJ and Emily. I think it's the right balance of bigger people who are going to work. Like, I think Kim and Muna would have no problem working with AJ and Emily. So I think this team, let's just put them all in room 1 to start. Make it easy. Let them vibe with each other. Make it happen, Audrey. I'm super confident with my team.
Now let me ask you this. I did see that. I'm not going to name names, although I'm naming your name now. I saw that some of the people on this draft have double dipped a little bit into other drafts. How would you compare this versus your other draft teams?
So my other one, I think I just had Kim. I might be wrong about that. But like I said, when I picked Kim, she's just so good at games. So good. And who doesn't love Kim Matina? You have to be a monster to take out Kim Matina.
Oh my God. Well, I think that it's good for you then that you're able to land her in both of your drafts.
Yeah. I love Kim. Kim is just a star to me. I think it's the same thing. If you take out Muna, people are going to be pissed. And some people just aren't going to want the backlash from that. So they're going to be too scared to take out Muna because that's how some people make decisions for some reason. I don't understand it. But I think Kim and Muna will sneak by. Plus, Kim someone just said she played Night of the Living Dead, which I don't think as many people watched because it was a Sunday. So people are going to know her, but they might not know how she played. Or
they don't recognize her without the dead makeup.
Right.
Exactly. But I took Kim in both just because I'm that confident with like Kim and her game. I've known her for like 5 years. Like Kim is the best. So
Well, all right. That sounds like a pretty fair argument for Kim and Muna, and hopefully AJ and Emily also round out the team. We'll move on to Andy. Andy, let's hear about it. Hopefully you've had all this time to stew on your speech, to stew on your reasoning. So spit it out. Let's hear it.
Am I one for speaking for a long time? So I think that my team is a very tasty PB Dan J sandwich. That's my joke. I don't know how we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do great. Here's the thing, and this is what I think is the most important piece to remember. We're all making like these bold, sweeping predictions on the basis of games that already happened in the past. But the beautiful thing about this mini is it's still in the future. So I think that it would be incredibly, I don't have a good adjective for this. I think it would be short-sighted of us to think that
one of your players isn't going to win.
Oh, well, obviously that, but also just to think that these players are going to come in and play the same games we've seen them play. Like it's slightly different in a Winners at War because, like, yes, everybody's game plans worked the first time or the whatever last time they played, but I'm excited to see whose game evolves. And frankly, if you believe in evolution and you believe in the fact that the future is bright, then I have the Final Four, and I don't know what you guys have been doing all night.
Thank you for explaining how time works.
Wow, that's the great. I don't think any of us really beat that sum up of our teams. I think that's
past in the past, the future's in the future.
A great argument to go out on. So thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around. If you've stuck around the whole time to watch this draft, it went on a hair longer than our last draft, but not too crazy. Definitely not reaching on 4 hours like some of our podcast episodes have gotten. So, thank God for that. But if you're looking for something else to do tonight, I know that Audrey on the Sequester YouTube is hosting a game night that actually is starting now or started a couple minutes ago. So once you're done with this, you can head on over there. I believe there'll be some Sequester alumni to play some games. It's pretty fun. I was on last week, so check it out. But thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and show our social media here on the screen. So as I bring it up, if maybe you can take a second to talk about it and tell people why they should follow you, and then we'll get this show on the road. So Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mostly tweet about, well, I was going to say liberal arts college, but I just graduated. So mostly bodily functions. And how that's going, but follow me if you want. But I just want to say, TR and Mallory, thank you so much for having me on, and also you guys make so much content and put it out for free. So if you're watching this right now in the YouTube or maybe Facebook, I don't know, is there maybe Periscope or Twitter? I don't know. Who knows where it is? Wherever you're watching, subscribe on that platform to Podquester Mini to support TR and Mallory.
And Louis, who's not here tonight.
And basically Rayanne and me at this point, who have been pulling up. And this was so fun. So, please subscribe to them. They're really great. And, follow me if you choose. That is totally cool.
Wow. I'm not going to argue with some of those points you made there. Thank you very much, Charlie. I appreciate it. All right. So go ahead and check out Charlie's Twitter if you want to stay in touch with him, hear about bodily functions or praise for me, apparently, and Mallory in the show. So those two things. I love it. I'm going to follow immediately if I'm not already. Andy, what about you?
Hey. So follow me at Andy Vogel. I'm only public on Twitter. I tweet about almost nothing. So I promise I won't spam you. And if you follow me, it'll make me feel good. So I think that's a really good reason right there. And now that Survivor's over, I actually don't know what my Twitter is going to consist of because it's normally just live tweeting. But who knows? I have very controversial opinions on a lot of things. And I'm also just kind of a bad person. So if you want to see me be an ass, follow me on Twitter.
A good Twitter villain. I guess we all need someone to root against, right?
Always.
Someone to hate follow? Is that what you're trying to encourage here?
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's a good point.
Rayanne, that's going to be tough to follow. Rayanne, what do you have to say?
Well, I don't know. My Twitter is pretty much me just retweeting Animal Crossing stuff and complaining about cis people. So if that's interesting to any of you, I recommend it. I don't really tweet that much, so So do they post selfies like with like my beautiful face?
Well, that's all the more reason to follow, so that way you can be in line with all the people who do follow and know when she eventually does tweet. Wow, what a good group that will be to be in. You're not getting what I'm saying? Is that a long line to follow?
That was a long line to follow.
Okay,
A little bit.
Follow Rayanne.
Follow Rayanne. I think that's what it
he's trying
boils
to
down to. Absolutely. Follow down below.
You might regret it.
You might regret it. Jordan, what about you?
Cool. So my Twitter is JXR83. I'm not tweeting a lot right now because I just got a new job, so I'm waiting for them to do like all the screening stuff.
Congratulations.
But after that, I tweet a bunch of jokes. Usually tweet about sports, stuff
Congrats
like that.
on your job.
Congrats.
So yeah, I'm trying to keep it clean for right now. But after that's all done, I tweet a lot of jokes and funny, shitty things that happen to me. So if that interests you, follow me.
Check out Jordan's Twitter down below. Thank you, Jordan. Mallory, I didn't give you the chance to plug last time, so here you go. What about you?
Follow me on Twitter. I made it 2 months ago. There's nothing really on there. Sometimes there's pictures of our cats and musings. But yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'm the other Conradi. You can follow me on Twitter or Byte if you want to see short, funny videos that I make. You can check me out there. And I'm going to go solo on the screen for just a second, guys, so please don't leave just yet. But be sure to check out the mini that we have been spending all night talking about. We have the much anticipated Winners at War mini coming up this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch it by going to the Sequester Access website, sequesteraccess.com/live feed in the live feed tab right there. There's videos explaining how to watch it right there. We got the leaderboard with some of the winners that we've been picking and drafting tonight down there. So that's a lot of fun. You can check that out. And if you're a fan of Sequester, if you're a fan of Audrey, if you're a fan of everything that she's been doing and putting together, you can show your support on their Patreon. Become a member. There's a few different payment tiers depending on how much or little you can donate at the moment, but then you can play a mini and you can come be on the show and you can maybe come draft players for a future mini. So wouldn't that be fun? Wow. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for that. So thank you very much. Again, if you've stuck around this whole time, go watch the game night. Thank you to you guys all for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.